الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على النبي الأمي العربي القرشي المكي المدني الهاشمي صاحب قاب قوسين محبوب رب المشرقين والمغربين جد الحسن والحسين النبي الحرمين والإمام القبلتين والرسول الثقلين الذين سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرض بأبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتخبين المنتجبين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء واللعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم ومنكر فضائلهم وغاصب حقوقهم أجمعين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في محكم كتابه ومتقن خطابه: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. صلوات على محمد وعلى محمد. For the honor of Shuhada Karbala and Hasiran Karbala Syed, another salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And to hasten the reappearance of our awaited Imam Syed, loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Wa'ajjil farajan. We, over the last 2 nights, mentioned these 2 ayat of Surah Mubarakah Baqarah, Surah Abbas. Surah Baqarah is the second surah of the Holy Quran, and the verses are 255 and 256. 255 is of course Ayatul Kursi, and 256 is the ayat after Ayatul Kursi. And our discussion with regards to Tawheed of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. And yesterday we mentioned the reason why it's important, it's essential for us to understand Tawheed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Sifat and all the attributes associated to Him through Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and only through them. Today I wanted to reflect on a part. Yesterday we mentioned the part of the verse Al-Hayyul Qayyum, and we mentioned that why is it maybe one of the reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose these sifat to mention in this verse. The next part of the verse is also, the next sentence that comes in the verse is equally as important after that. So he says, Allahu la ilaha illa hu, Allah, there is no God other than Him. Al-Hayyul Qayyum, He is the one who was there from before every beginning and after every end. La ta'khuduhu sinatun wa la nawm. Out of all of the other sifat and other things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have mentioned, He's mentioned this one. So as you know, in the bahth or in the discussion on Usul al-Din, we have two types of attributes for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have Sifat al-Thubutiyya, which means those attributes which are proven for Him. In other words, these are the attributes which are essential for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without these attributes, there's no conception of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's Sifat al-Salbiyya, which means the Sifat which cannot be found in Him. In other words, it's impossible for Him to have these Sifat. So as far as Sifat al-Thubutiyya is concerned, he mentioned Al-Hayyul Qayyum. And we mentioned yesterday why, perhaps one of the reasons why Hayyul Qayyum has been mentioned. Alaykum salam. And after that, straight after that, he mentions this Sifat al-Salbiyya, which is what? La ta'khuduhu sinatun wa la nawm. He doesn't, or overtaken, he doesn't get overtaken by drowsiness or wala nawm. Neither with drowsiness, neither with absent-mindedness, nor with sleep. Again, as we said yesterday, that with regards to tafakkur on ayat of Holy Quran, we can only say that this might be the reasoning. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or Masumeen alayhi wa salam could say, Hatman, definitely this is the reason. Everybody else can only say this might be one of the reasons. And there might be more reasons as well. But since we are talking about Tawheed and we want to understand Ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through this ayat of Holy Quran, this is how it relates through Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Why? Because it says that He doesn't, out of all of the Sifat. So for example, the ayat doesn't say that He doesn't eat, even though that's true, He doesn't eat, or He doesn't drink, or He doesn't have a physical form, or all the other things that you and I are subjected to, we are necessitated with, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mubarra, He is exempted, He is above all of those things. But this particular mention of sleep is very interesting. Of course, one of the reasons behind it is that sleep, just like we mentioned with regards to knowledge yesterday, sleep, what does it mean? Sleep means that whatever happens whilst someone is sleeping, they don't know. If I'm asleep and something happens, even if it's happening in the same room as me, I don't know what's happening because I'm asleep. For example, let's say there's somebody sleeping there. If somebody is sleeping there and somebody comes in and starts speaking to him, everyone will say that what's wrong with the one, not the one who's sleeping, the one who's speaking to him, they'll say to him, what's wrong with you? How can you speak to somebody who's sleeping? Or even more strange than that, if he comes in and he starts giving you instructions, tomorrow this time I want to meet you there. We'll say to this person, please, before you meet anybody, first you go and get treatment. That you're speaking to someone and giving instructions to someone who's sleeping. How can he hear your instructions? How can he understand your instructions if he's not conscious? So sleep means, and the meaning behind this sentence is that he is not absent from any moment of my life. In other words, when a person is sleeping, they don't know what's happening whilst they're sleeping. When they will be awake, then they can be 100% focused, attentive to what's going on. But when they're sleeping, they don't know. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this concept of sleep and concept not even of drowsiness, that not even for a moment, sometimes, usually when it's majlis, some mu'mineen, they get sleepy when it's majlis time. They feel comfortable because the temperature is just right, so they fall asleep. And if somebody elbows them on the side, Majlis is going on, Maulana is looking at you, then they wake up. So this is not sleep. They just had, in Urdu we say, jhonka aa gaya. Yeah? Or another word we use in Urdu is ung, and this is the translation for sinaton. Norm is sleeping, but this is just a momentary lapse. But even during that moment, it's very dangerous sometimes if you driving for a long time. You don't sleep, you just get that moment. And that can be very dangerous, because if you got that moment while you're driving and your attention got lost from the road, could cause serious damage. And many people have got killed on the road because of such carelessness. That's why when you're going on the highway, they have signs that take a break after a few hours, so that you don't cause injury to yourself or to other people. But for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's saying that لا تأخذه سنة ولا that it doesn't even come to Him. This sleep, this concept, it doesn't come to Him. That every moment of your life, He knows exactly what's happening. Everything. He is not absent from any matter. There's a famous hadith, it's attributed both to Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam and Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam. And regards to this kind of a hadith which are attributed to more than one Imam, I always say that it's possible that this question was asked to more than one Imam, and they would have given the same reply, because kulluna Muhammad. If you ask the same question, you will get the same reply. And in fact, sometimes to test the Imams alayhimus salam, people would ask this. An Imam would reply that you asked me because you wanted to know that whether my answer will match that of my grandfather or my father or my great-grandfather who answered the same question. So know that if you ask us the same question, we'll give you the same reply. So this famous narration that somebody came to the Imam and asked him that I can't stop sinning, I can't stop doing acts of disobedience, so what should I do? So Imam alayhi salam said to him, I'll give you 5 options. If you take any of these 5 options, then you can do as many sins as you want. What did he say? He said, go to a place where Allah can't see you, and then do as much sin as you want. So he replied, Ya ibn Rasulullah, there's no place where Allah can't see me. Then he said, go to a land or a place that doesn't belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then do as much sin as you want. So he said, Ya Allah, Ya ibn Rasulullah, everything belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no place which doesn't belong to Him. He says, don't eat from the rizq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then do as much sin as you want. He says, everything is from the rizq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can't stay alive without eating the rizq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Imam alayhi salam says, 4th option is that when Malakul Maut comes to you, refuse to give up your soul to him. Because I have no control over Malakul Maut either. Then he says, 5th option is when you're being dragged into the hellfire, then refuse the angel to go into the hellfire. So he says, Ya ibn Rasulullah, even this I can't do. So Imam says to him, why did he mention all of this? Imam says to him that when you can't go to a place where Allah doesn't see you, nor can you go to a place which doesn't belong to Him, nor can you stop eating from His rizq, nor do you have any control over Malakul Maut or the angel that's going to drag you in the hellfire, isn't this enough for you to think that you shouldn't disobey Him? that He has so much control over you, that the place you're living belongs to Him. And wherever you go belongs to Him. Whatever you eat to survive is coming from Him. Malakul Maut is going to take your soul, also is in His control. And hellfire also belongs to Him. So after all of these things, you still don't consider that you shouldn't disobey. Or is this not enough for you to stop sinning? So, he says there's no place where He doesn't see you. Why? Because not only there's no place, not only there's no time, because لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. Now, to resolve this matter, that why this particular sifat, we have to take some help from a historical incident, which you all know, but I want to mention it in the bab of ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. What happened in this historical incident, you also know. Rasulullah came to Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam and said to him, Ya Ali, I want you to sleep on the bed. So, if it was you or me or anybody else, we would say, Ya Rasulullah, what's going to happen to me? But he didn't say that. He said, Ya Rasulullah, will it save your life? Ali alayhi salam said, Ya Rasulullah, will it save your life? Rasulullah says, Ya Ali, if you sleep on the bed, it will save my life. If you sleep on the bed, it will save my life. Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu salam slept on the bed. Afterwards they asked him, Ya Ali, how did you sleep that night when you knew? There's one thing I don't know what's going to happen to me in the morning. So I sleep comfortably. When I wake up, then I find out that something wrong has happened. But there's one thing that I know, that next day something serious is going to happen to me. Forget being killed. If I know somebody is going to come to my house and attack me, then I wouldn't be able to sleep that night, no matter how heavy a sleeper I am. Why? Because of the fear of the fact that something's going to happen to me the next morning, I won't be able to sleep. So everybody is surprised. They say, Ya Ali, when you knew that 40 people with swords are gathered there, how did you sleep? So Maulana says that didn't you pay attention to what was the hukum, the order of the Prophet? He said, Ya Ali, sleep on the bed. He didn't say lie on the bed. Rasulullah didn't say, Ya Ali, lie on the bed. No, he said sleep on the bed. He says, when there was the hukm of Rasulullah to sleep, I had to sleep. That Imam Amirul Mu'mineen is saying that there's no hukum, no order that Rasulullah gave that I didn't fulfill. When he said sleep, so I slept. It was the order of, it doesn't matter what else is happening. Rasulullah said sleep, so I slept. But there's another matter to resolve by sleeping. What is this matter? Two matters. This second matter and third matter that we want to resolve in the bab of ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, number one, we have to, for number two, example number two or matter number two, we have to use an example so that we can get closer to this point. This example that I use is an example that especially those of you who've been to high-end stores will be able to relate quickly to this example. So, for example, you go to a high-end store and you see a watch. And you know when you go to those stores, they don't have the price tag there. So you have to ask. So you ask the guy there in the counter, how much is it? So he gives you a price, whatever it might be. So I'm there in the store and I asked about the watch and he gave me a price. Sometime later, somebody else came into the store. This person visibly is much more wealthy than me, more higher in status. So when he asked this guy at the store, same watch, how much is it? So he replied to him that whatever you want to give, whatever you like. So I have a right to object that when I asked you, you gave me a price. But when he asked you, you said whatever you like. Why did you? Question was the same, but you gave a different reply. So shopkeeper was saying that the thing is that this person is much higher in economic status. So when I said to him, whatever you like, he's going to give me the price in accordance with what he thinks is appropriate. I left the decision of making the price or deciding or fixing the price to him because he will give it in accordance with his own status, with what he thinks is appropriate to this watch. On the night of Hijrah, same thing happened. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called out to His angels and He said to Jibreel and Mikael particularly, said that on the arsh we made you, Jibreel and Mikael, brothers. So if there's an occasion or a time where one of you has to put his life in danger to save the other one, will you do it? So Jibreel and Mikael both think for a moment and they say, Ya Allah, we love each other a lot, but we wouldn't put our lives in danger for each other. We wouldn't put our lives in danger for each other. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, go down to the earth and see that Ali has put his life in danger for Rasulullah. He slept on the bed, knowing that people are there present to kill him. So on the night of Hijrah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a favor done to him. Why? Rasulullah is the Habib of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam Amirul Mu'mineen salam saved the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore Allah has to give something in return for this favor. Al-jaza'ul ihsan illa al-ihsan. If somebody did a favor to you, you have to return it with a favor. So Ali has done a favor that he saved the life of Rasulullah. So now Allah has to return the favor. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks on the night of Hijrah, Ya Ali, what do you want? So Ali alayhi salam replies just that that person had replied to the person of high status that, Ya Allah, whatever you like. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replies to him that from now on whatever you like will be whatever I like. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِ نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرَضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَءُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. This last part of the verse is very beautiful. I always mention that amongst this is also in Surah Baqarah verse 207, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِ نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرَضَاتِ اللَّهِ. That from amongst the people is the one who sold his soul for the pleasure of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bought the soul and in exchange gave him pleasure of Allah. Wallahu ra'ufun bil ibad. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very loving. Ra'uf means the one who loves you immensely. Ra'uf is the one who loves you immensely. It says Allah is most loving towards His servants. What connection does this have with this first part of the verse? if we do tafakkur on this verse of Quran, we would find that the connection this has with the first part of the verse is this, that from the beginning of time until night of Hijrah, to find out what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala get pleased by is difficult. From the night of Hijrah until day of judgment it's become very easy. You have to see Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam's life. Whatever he does, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with. Whatever he tells you stay away from, he is not pleased with. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa alayhi. And the matter regarding may Allah be pleased with him or may Allah be pleased with her is also solved. After the names of the companions, Muslims say, may Allah be pleased with him or may Allah be pleased with her, radiyallahu anhu or radiyallahu anha. Right? So this matter is also resolved. That whomsoever, when mardi pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, this matter is resolved. Whomsoever Ali is pleased with, Allah is pleased with them. Whomsoever he is displeased with, Allah is also displeased with them. The matter is solved. Now third matter, which is in the bab of Ma'rifat of Tawheed that we mentioned, is this. Is that it's mentioned from the riwayat of Aimma alayhimu salatu salam. In fact, last week was the shahadat of our fourth holy Imam alayhi salatu salam, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salatu salam. And his title is what? Zainul Abidin, the adornment of those who do ibadat, of those who do worship. Adornment. He gives zinat, beauty, to those who do ibadat. Or Sayyidus Sajidin, the leader, Sardar, Sayyid of those who do sajda. Somebody saw his worship, his ibadat, and they said to him that every time something happens, you go into sajda. Whenever he got a ni'mat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he do sajda. Whenever he had a child was born in his house, he would do sajda. Whenever he would resolve a dispute between two people, he would do sajda. To the extent that he's called, in Arabic we have sajid, which means the one who does sajda. But Imam is not sajid, he is sajjad. And sajjad is sigha mubalagha, which means what? Which means that there's no part of the earth which he doesn't do sajda on. The earth was calling out that we want him to do sajda on us. Every part of the earth wants him to do sajda on. So somebody sees his act, his ibadat, his immense ibadat, and they say that, Ya ibn Rasulullah, you do so much ibadat. So he smiles and he says, if only you saw the ibadat of my grandfather Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Zainul Abidin, Sayyidul Sajidin is saying, if you saw the ibadat, my ibadat is nothing compared to ibadat of my grandfather Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. So they said, what is the ibadat of your grandfather Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam? So he says that my grandfather Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam used to pray 1,000 rakat of nafilah every night. Every night. 1,000 rakat nafilah. So that means what? If somebody prays 1,000 rakat nafilah every night, that means they don't sleep. Somebody who prays 1,000 rakat nafilah every night means they don't sleep. So Ali alayhi salam, he doesn't sleep. Ali alayhi salam doesn't sleep. 1,000 rakat nafilah at night. In the daytime he's fighting battles, defending religion of Islam. That is also ibadat. That is also ibadat. This is also ibadat. His whole day and night is all in ibadat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like I said yesterday, Hayyul Qayyum, also to defend Tawheed. And La ta'khuduhu, I don't want you to forget where did I come from. La ta'khuduhu sinatun wa la nawm. that this sleep doesn't overcome him. For this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides that there has to be one night where I'm going to make Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam sleep. I'm going to have one night so that he sleeps, so that you will be convinced that only one who doesn't sleep is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even Ali ibn Abi Talib, we made him sleep for one night. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. And when he stayed up and prayed 1,000 rakat of namaz, that was ibadat this night. When he slept, it was also ibadat because it was the hukm of Rasulullah. In other words, it's not important what did he do, what's important is did he follow the hukm of Rasulullah or not. And this is the same commandment for those who are followers of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam as well. That I have to know and find out that in my situation on each given day, what is the hukm of Rasulullah for me? What is the hukm of the Imam for me? And I have to follow that. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. This is the biggest matter and the biggest and the most important point in the chapter of Ma'rifat of Allah. Why Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, and we have this hadith from more than one of our Imam that ibadat ليس العبادة بكثرة الصلاة والصوم or بكثرة الصوم والصلاة, depending on the narration. That ibadat is not excessiveness of prayer and fasting. Then what is ibadah? We think that prayer and fasting is ibadah. Then what is ibadah? وَلَكِنْ إِبَادَةُ كَثْرَةِ التَّفَكُّرِ بِأَمْرِ اللَّهِ. That we want you to do tafakkur on the amr, the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands? What does this mean? Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. This means that salat and psalm and all of the acts of ibadat, they are means to a goal and not the goal themselves. And we know this because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran tells us that they are means to a goal. What does he say? Inna salata tanha anil fahshai wal munkar. Salat, prayer, forbids you, prevents you from evil and indecency. That means what? That means that prayer has a goal, it has a purpose. The goal and purpose is not the prayer. The goal is to protect me from evil and indecency. Why? From the very, we can go to deeper level on this, but from a very basic level. The most basic level is this, that whenever a person goes towards disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the time for prayer would come, he would stop himself, that I have to go and pray. In the most basic, simple way. In reality, if person has ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and knows that, like the Urafa used to say, that don't plan your day, then try to fit the salat in your day. No, they would put the salat and plan the day around the salat. Why? Because it's the only kind of ibadat which has been mandated multiple times a day, to give to show us the importance of this act. Salatu umud-ud-din, the hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that is the pillar of religion. And what is the purpose of the pillar? That if it removed, the building would collapse. So it's important, it's very important, it's the most important act, but it has a purpose, it has a action. Now usually when you mention this kind of thing, somebody says to you, and many people would say, that but Maulana, this person he prays but he's still a bad person, he still cheats people, so what's the point of him praying? Or, I pray but I still do bad things, or I still do wrong things. So then what's the point of doing prayer? So I was asked, why is it that you say that what's the point of doing prayer? Why don't you ask what's the point of doing that wrong thing? Why don't you say that that person should stop doing that wrong act, that evil act? Why is it that you want to stop the prayer? Because if it's not fulfilling its purpose, that means I have to fix the prayer, not remove it from my life. There's no option to remove it from my life. My option is only that I have to fix the prayer in order to make sure it's fulfilling the function that it does. If my car breaks down, I go and get it fixed. I don't throw away. If my phone develops a fault, I go and get it repaired. I don't say I'm going to throw away. Similarly, if my salat has a problem, then I have to make it and fix it, and not to say that I'm going to remove it from my life because there's no point to pray because I'm still doing evil acts. But in the bab of ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's saying that not kathrat, not excessiveness. In other words, it's not the quantity of the action that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is interested in, it's the quality of the action. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is interested in the quality of my action. That am I doing and performing this act with the quality that it requires. And that quality would only be achieved if I have ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Because this attack on, for example, on the rituals of the faith, for example, on particular aspects of the faith, for example, on all kinds of other things, the way that our faith and deen is manifested is in reality because, and the reason why we become defensive about these things is because there's lack of ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? If there's a problem with a particular action, or there's a problem with a particular thing, that problem is not resolved by being defensive about that particular action. The problem is resolved by increasing the ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for me to understand this action. In this bab, to understand ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to understand those who have introduced Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the people, and whom Allah has appointed in order to introduce Him to the people. We mentioned in the first majlis that He says that are created in order to be recognized. And therefore it's His responsibility to send those people who recognize Him in the way that He deserves to be recognized, so that we can recognize. In order to understand that, what would be the example that we could use is an example that you're all familiar with from mathematics, which is what? Which is that if you want to draw a circle, put the pencil in the compass, and then you put the compass in the middle of the page, and then you move the compass round, and you have a circle on the page. Now when you have the circle on the page, what is the characteristic of the circle? That the circle is all the way round. The circumference of the circle is all the way around, and you can see it. But the center of the circle, you can't see it. The circumference of the circle, you can see it because you drew it around with the pencil. But the center of the circle, you can't see it. But can anybody deny that the circle has a center? Whosoever denies that the circle has a center, they will say to him that the circumference is proof. Circumference is proof that the circle has a center, even though you can't see it. You can't see the center, but the circumference is proof that the center exists. And it is the circumference which makes us know the center. If there was no circumference of the circle, we would not know the center. Even before the circumference, center exists. But it's through the circumference of the circle that we know that the center exists. So the center is Tawheed and circumference is Risalat. Through this circumference of Risalat we know that center exists even though we can't see it. And we mentioned yesterday why is the reasoning, what's the reasoning behind not seeing it? Because there's no physical characteristic. But the circumference is a proof that the center exists. And through the circumference we recognize the center. So it's through the Prophet and through the messengers that we would recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this circumference through which we recognize the center introduced us to another circumference when he said, Ana madinatul ilm wa aliyun babuha wa man arada al madinata falyatiha min babiha. And the city of knowledge, and Ali is its gate, and whosoever wants to enter has to come through the gate. Whoever comes through any other way would be considered a thief, would be considered a robber. If you are civilized, you come through the gate. So those who fabricated other things with this hadith and they said Fulah is the walls and Fulah is the roof, there's no roof in cities. When they fabricated and they said Fulah, so and so is the roof and so is the wall and so is the gutter, there's no roof in cities. It gives away that this is a fabrication to this hadith. But even if we accept those things, entrance to the city is only through the gates, because Rasulullah says, فَمَنْ أَرَادَ الْمَدِينَ فَلْيَأْتِهَا مِنْ بَابِهَا. Whoever wants to enter has to come through the gate. So this is why we insist on the ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Ahlul Bayt, through Prophet and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. Why? Because nobody else could introduce Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the way that they introduced Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa And this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the message from Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam is what? Is that when we recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we do tafakkar on this amr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a balance between hope and fear. That neither should one be so hopeful that they disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hope that they would be forgiven. Nor they should be so fearful that they don't do any act of ibadat because they think the fear that I'm definitely going to be doomed. So there's from Aimma alayhi salam, there's a balance between hope and fear. That there has to be some hope, but at the same time there has to be some fear as well. And that fear is not of Allah. Sometimes we wrongly translate. Taqwa is fear of Allah. No. This is fear of the punishment. Not fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fear of the punishment. So the amr of tafakkur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is there needs to be balance between hope and fear. And that's the next sentence of this ayat. مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يَشْفَعُ عِنْدَهُ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ. In many languages we use this technique, but particularly in Arabic and particularly in Holy Quran. Which is what? Is when you want to emphasize something, you start with a negative. It's used in many languages, but particularly in Arabic and particularly in Quran, to emphasize something. For example, in Surah Mubarakah Al Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam is nothing. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa alihi. He is nothing except that he is a messenger. So similarly, this ayat, he says, this sentence in the ayat, he says, there's no shafa'at. There's no intercession. Illa bi'idhnihi. Except with his permission. That means there is shafa'at. There is shafa'at, but only with his permission. That means permission is in his hand, not in my hand. I have to make myself worthy of shafa'at. But there is shafa'at. Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says that whoever denies that there is shafa'at, laysa minna, he is not from us. That person who denies, who rejects, who says there is no shafa'at, is not from us. But same Imam says what? He says, لا ينال الشفاعة أو لا تنال الشفاعة من يستخف بالصلاة. Our shafa'at would not reach. The word is very interesting. He doesn't say there's no shafa'at. No, it wouldn't reach. The shafa'at is there. Shafa'at is there, but it wouldn't reach. Who? The one who doesn't pray? No, forget about him. Man yastakhiffa bis salat. Who doesn't give importance to salah. Who considers it light, khafif. The one who doesn't pray, there's no whoever. For tariqus salat faqad kafar. We have our narrations that whoever left the prayer intentionally went out of Islam. He has to rejoin, come back to Islam if he did it intentionally. But the one who takes it lightly, the one who doesn't give it importance, doesn't give it proper place, no shafa'at for that person. But here Allah is saying bi'idhnihi, with his permission. So who has the idhn? Who's got the permission? Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa Who has the permission? We got the clue for this in Hadith al-Kisa. When Imam Hussain alayhi salam comes. And when he comes, he says salam to his mother, then he comes to Rasulullah. And he says, أَتَأْذُنَ لِي أَنْ أَدْخُلَ مَعَكُمَا تَحْتَ هَذَا الْكِسَاءِ. And Rasulullah says, وَعَلَيْكُمُ السَّلَامُ يَا ثَمَرَةَ فُؤَادِي وَالشَّافِعُ أُمَّتِي. Not any other person says. Rasulullah says, Ya Hussein, you are going to do shafa'at for my ummah, for my nation. But yes, you and I, we have to make ourselves worthy for that shafa'at. Shafa'at is there. This is why Imam alayhi salam, even for the one who took the prayer lightly, he didn't say there's no shafa'at. No, it wouldn't reach you because of your own action. It doesn't reach you. It doesn't reach you means that it exists, it's there. I have to make myself worthy to make sure that it reaches me. I have to make myself worthy that it reaches me. Now the time is up. There was many other things that I want to say, but inshallah ta'ala tomorrow we'll try to take our discussion of Ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to some kind of conclusion. Even though obviously the discussion is very long, cannot be concluded in 4 days, but we'll try to give some summary of what we mentioned over the 3 days, inshallah ta'ala. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa Shafa'at is for those who are worthy. And who are those who are worthy? Allah. Those who are worthy are those who, when it comes to hukum of Imam, Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu salam told us that when it comes to hukum of Rasulullah, no questions, just obey. Ma ataakumur Rasul fakhuduhu wa ma nahakum anhu fantahu. Whatever he gives you, take it. Whatever he stops you from, stay away from it. So no questions. Whatever he tells you, do it. And it's the same with Imam alayhi salam. Whatever he tells you, do it. And whoever gets to that point and stage in their life where they can drop everything, and when Imam says do this, they could do it, that person will become worthy of shafa'at. And this is very important for you and me. Why? Because we're also waiting for an Imam. We are waiting, we are muntadirin of an Imam who also expects you and I to drop everything when he comes. So I have to be ready for that. And this is why we keep on repeating the story of Karbala, to show us that how did people drop everything and come towards Imam Hussein alayhi salam for eternal success. Today I want to share with you a story of a lady who did this for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And this, of course, all the ladies in Karbala, there's no doubt that without the women and without the children, there's no story of Karbala. In fact, let alone there's no story of Karbala, there's no commemoration of the story of Karbala. You will see even today, even now, and you will all agree with me on this, that even today, even now, in every part of the world, wherever there's a majlis azar for Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the effort that is put in by the ladies and the children is much more than is put in by the men. And this is because the effort of the ladies and children of Karbala. So no doubt, all the ladies, all the women of Karbala, their effort is immense. But this lady particularly is very special, to show us what does it mean to drop everything for Imam alayhi salam. This lady, she comes from an ordinary household in the sense that she is not born to Ma'suma or to a Ma'sum. You know, Imam Hussein alayhi salam or Sayyidah Zainab salamullah alayha. Sayyidah Zainab salamullah alayha is born to Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, to Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha. And there's no doubt about her fadilat and her rank, but she's born to Ma'sum parents. This lady is born to ordinary parents, in the sense that they're not Ma'sum. And in fact, she comes from a very privileged background, but she leaves behind all that privilege for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And she has two gifts for Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and she leaves both of them behind. Her first gift is in Karbala, and the other one is in Sham. I'm talking, of course, about Lady Rabah. And in this moment and at this point, we have to do salam to all the ladies who came into the house of Amirul Mu'mineen from outside. Because at Karbala, they didn't let anybody point out that these ladies came from ordinary houses. They showed the same spirit, the same enthusiasm for Shahadat as the daughters of Amirul Mu'mineen showed, as the family of the Holy Prophet of Islam showed. They showed that we have now become part of this household, and our spirit of sacrifice is second to none. Imagine, I always think about this moment, and it breaks your heart that every single person who goes into the battlefield, they know their parents, their family, their sisters, their brothers, they all know that they're going to die. But the 6-month-old baby, Imam alayhi salam had said, I'm going to get him water. 6-month-old baby did not go into the battlefield to fight. 6-month-old baby went there to get water. And when he reached there, they said, Quran is coming. Imam alayhi salam was covering him with his abba because of the heat, 120 degrees Fahrenheit on the day of Ashura in Karbala. But instead of water, they fired the 3-pronged arrow. And when Imam alayhi salam brought the baby back, Rabah, all she said was, Amithluka yunhar? Even 6-month-old animals are not killed. 6-month-old baby, Amithluka yunhar? They killed someone like you? They slaughtered a baby like you. Then they came to Damascus. When they came to Damascus, when they entered into Damascus, there's lots of tests for the daughter of Rabab. The test is that her uncle Abbas used to get her whatever she wanted. Now she's been screaming for water and there's nobody to get her water. Her father Hussein ﷺ used to have her sleep on his chest. He used to say that I don't like the house which doesn't have Rabab and Sakina. Allahu Akbar. Sakina, the one who gives peace, tranquility. She dies in the prison. When she dies in the prison, Imam Sajjad ﷺ, they call the woman to give ghusl. When the woman comes to give ghusl, she says to Imam Sajjad ﷺ, did you used to beat this young girl? Imam says, why? She says, when I wanted to give ghusl, the clothing is stuck to the body. The clothing is stuck to the body. Imam Sajjad ﷺ, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the sake of this musibat protect every sister. May no brother have to see the funeral of his baby sister in front of him. Imam ﷺ says, no. But from Karbala to Kufa and Kufa to Damascus, Shimr used to whip the girl so much that the clothing has stuck to the body. When they get freed from the prison in Sham and they want to leave, Sayyidah Zainab Salamullah Alaiha counts all the ladies, but she sees that one is missing. So she's looking around, where is the wife of my brother Hussein? Where's my sister-in-law Rabab? And she sees that Rabab is lying on the grave of her daughter at the top of the prison. And Bibi Zainab says, Bibi, let's go, we're going home. She says, what should I go home to? I had a 6-month-old baby, he's in Karbala. And I had a daughter and she is here. So what should I go home for? Let me be here so that at least my daughter is not alone. Sayyidah Zainab Salamullah Alaiha says, Rabab, let's go. I promise you that I will come back and I will look over your daughter. Ajrukum Allah. When she comes back to Karbala, when she's leaving Karbala, she said to Imam Hussein alayhi salam that I promise you for the sake of the fact that your body was lying under burning sands with the heat of the sun beating down, that from now on I would never sit underneath a shade. From Karbala to Kufa and Kufa to Damascus and Damascus back to Medina, everywhere Rabab stands under the beating sun. When she reaches Medina and years pass by, some of the ladies from the house of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam say to Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, tell your mother, come into the shade now, we can't bear to see her sit in the sun all day. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam comes out, she says, Mother Rabab, come into the shade. Come into the shade. She says, no, I made a promise to your father Hussein alayhi salam on the day that we left Karbala that I would never sit in the shade again. Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu salam changes his tone and he said, Mother Rabab, I order you as the Imam of the time that you have to come into the shade. I order you as the Imam of the time that you have to come into the shade. Rabab looks up to the heaven. She says, I made a promise to one Imam that I would never sit in the shade. Now I have another Imam telling me I have to come into the shade. Ya Allah, help me. At that moment, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam sees that Malakul Maut descends and Rabab leaves this world. He calls out to the women in the house, come, hurry. My mother Rabab has left this world. She fulfilled her promise that she would never sit in the shade for as long as she lives. Allah wa la'natullahi ala al-qawm al-zalimin wa sayyah. Lamu alladhina dhalamu ayyamun qalabi yanqalibun. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the acceptance of our majlis and the space of our tears in the handkerchief of Zahra salamullah alayha, and for the sake of these tears that we shed to forgive our sins and the sins of our marhumeen, and to elevate their status in the hereafter, and to give to protect the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam wherever they are in the world, their lives, their honor, their dignity, their wealth and their families, to allow us to act according to the teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, their life, give ziyarat in our lifetimes and shafa'at the next life, and to hasten the reappearance of our awaited Imam, and to make us amongst those who serve him. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ بِحَقِّ مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِهِ الطَّاهِرِينَ مَاتِمَ الْخَيْرِ.
بازار میں یہ زینہ فضا سے کہہ رہی ہے اماں مجھے چھپا لو. بازار میں زینہ فضا سے کہہ رہی ہے اماں مجھے چھپا لو. بازار میں یہ زینہ فضا سے کہہ رہی ہے عباس کی بہن کو ہر آنکھیں ڈھونڈتی ہے اماں مجھے چھپا لو. بازار میں یہ زینہ فضا سے کہہ رہی ہے اماں مجھے چھپا لو. بازار میں یہ زینہ فضا سے کہہ رہی ہے اماں مجھے اس نام سے ہمیشہ اس نام سے ہمیشہ آئی ہے مجھ کو غیرت. پالا ہے تم نے مجھ کو تم جانتی ہو عادت. بازاری زندگی میں زینب کہاں گئی ہے اماں مجھے چھپا لو. بازار میں یہ زینب فضا سے کہہ رہی ہے اماں مجھے چھپا لو. بازار میں زینب فضا سے کہہ رہی ہے پوچھے تو کوئی ان سے پوچھے تو کوئی ان سے چینا ہے کیا تمہارا پردیسی بے وطن ہے کیا جرم ہے ہمارا کیسا ہے یہ تماشا یہ بھیڑ کیوں لگی ہے اماں مجھے چھپا لو بہار میں یہ زینب فضا سے کہہ رہی ہے اماں مجھے چھپا لو بازار میں زینب فضا سے کہہ رہی ہے ہلو دیکھا نہ مرتضیٰ نے دیکھا نہ مرتضیٰ نے جس کو بغیر چادر نہ محرموں میں آئے وہ آ گئی کھلے سر قتل حسین سے بھی دشوار یہ گھڑی ہے اماں مجھے چھپا لو بازار میں یہ زینب فضا سے کہہ رہی ہے اماں مجھے چھپا لو
چھ مہینے والے تجھ کو میرا سلام اصغر ہائے اصغر اصغر ہائے اصغر اصغر ہائے اے شاہدین کے دل بر شاہدین کے دل بر اے روح قلب مادر شاہدین کے دل بر اے تشنہ کام مزتر اے بے زبان اصغر چھ مہینے والے تجھ کو میرا سلام اصغر ہائے اصغر اصغر ہائے اصغر گر ہائے اصغر تشنا لبیب تیری گریا ہے یہ خدائی مظلومیت نے تیری انسانیت جگائی اے چھ مہینے والے تجھ کو میرا سلام اصغر ہائے اصغر اصغر ہائے اصغر اصغر ہائے اصغر اصغر ہائے اصغر سوکھے لبوں پہ تو نے سوکھے لبوں پہ تو نے جس دم زباں پھرائی سر کو جھکا کے رویا دشمن کا ہر سپاہی اے چھ مہینے والے تجھ کو میرا سلام اصغر ہائے اصغر اصغر ہائے اصغر وہ خون رو کے یہ کہتا رہا زمانے سے وہ خون رو کے یہ کہتا رہا زمانے سے وہ خون رو کے یہ کہتا رہا زمانے ردائے چھینو نا، ردائے چھینو نا لوگوں میرے گھرانے سے، وہ خون رو کے یہ کہتا رہا زمانے سے، وہ خون رو کے یہ کہتا رہا زمانے سے۔ سوال آب پہ سونے پہ اس کے رونے پہ، سوال آب پہ سونے پہ اس کے رونے پہ، وہ مارتے تھے، وہ مارتے تھے سکینہ کو ہر بہانے سے، وہ خون رو کے یہ کہتا رہا زمانے سے، وہ خون رو کے یہ کہتا رہا زمانے سے۔ سلایا جاتا تھا بے ہوش کر کے دروں سے، سلایا جاتا تھا بے ہوش کر کے دروں سے، جگایا جاتا تھا، جگایا جاتا تھا عبد کو تازیانے سے، وہ خون رو کے یہ کہتا رہا زمانے سے، وہ خون رو کے یہ کہتا رہا زمانے سے۔ ردائے چھینو نا، ردائے چھینو نا لوگوں میرے گھرانے سے، وہ خون رو کے یہ کہتا رہا زمانے سے، وہ خون رو کے
صلی اللہ علیہ یا رسول اللہ، صلی اللہ علیہ یا نبی اللہ، صلی اللہ علیہ یا جد الحسن والحسین ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔ السلام علیک یا مولاي یا ابا عبد اللہ، وعلى الارواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليك مني جميعا سلام الله ابدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء، السلطان أبا الحسن علي بن موسى الرضا، هم شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء. السلام عليك لأبوائك السبعة وأبنائك الأربعة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا صاحب العصر والزمان، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك يا سيدي روحي وأرواح العالمين لمقدم ترابك الفداء يا ابن الزهراء. صل على
دعا کی التماس کی گئی ہے شجاعت حسین اور ایک مومنہ کی سرجری ہوئی ہے ان کی صحت یابی کے لیے اور کل مومنات کی صحت یابی کے لیے بلند سے بلند تر صلوات.